Let us define how to solve the linear system, right? What is the linear system? When we have linear equation in an unknowns, and we have to find out what is the solution of these linear equation. So then firstly we write it up in matrix form, right? This is, we know that this is an augmented matrix with the b1, b2, b3, and the coefficient of these are called making. When this making of the coefficient matrix, and either it is makes with b1, b2, b3, this called an augmented matrix. This is the matrix of augmented matrix, right? What we have this linear equation system, and we have to find out the solution of x1, x2, x3, right? So for solving x1, x2, x3, we take it in matrix form: 1, -2, 1 and 0, and there is 0 term of x1 coefficient, and +2, -8 is the coefficient, and +8 is the coefficient, then -4, 5, 9, -9, right? These are the coefficient of this. Now this matrix is called augmented matrix. Now how do you solve this type of linear system? Firstly, we know that elementary row operation. First is replace one row by the sum of itself or a multiple of the another row, right? First, what is the row operation we can do with this? These are rows: first row, second row, and third row. This is R1, this is R2, this is R3, right? So firstly what we have to do, what is the row operations? Because it is called row operation because we have chosen r1, r2, r3. Okay, okay. If you have taken column operations, then it is called c1, c2, c3 and c4, right? So we call that it is column operations. Operation means what we operate. That means that it is multiplication, it is addition, right? Okay. Firstly we take either we take first operation. What we have taken, we have chosen only three operation, right? Okay, first operation is one row by the sum of itself, one row by the sum of itself sum, or a multiple of another row, right? Multiple of another row we have taken. Interchange of two rows, we can take it, multiply entries in a row by a non-zero constant, and multiply an entry by a non-zero constant, right? Now how to solve this? Firstly we take 1 minus 2 1 0, it is r1, okay, and it is r2, and it is r3. First what we have taken operation is, first we take r1 which goes to 4 r1 plus r2, right? We take 4 times of r1 plus r3. This is r3, right? So what we have taken, so after implying the and, r2 goes to be 1 by 2 of r2, right? When we take r2 goes to 1 by 2 of r2, then it is 1, and it is -4, and it is 4. Now with 4 of r1, then it is 4 plus 4, 4 of plus -4, it is goes to be 0, and it is -3, it is 13, and it is 9. Okay, so what is the difference between r3 goes to be 0, -3, 13 and -9, and this goes to be 0, 1, -4 and 4. What is the next operation we have taken? r3 goes to be 3r2 plus r3. When we take, we have to introduce it in the normal form, we have to make it 0. So after taking 3r2 plus r3, this make it 0, and this is 1 and 3. Now what we have chosen, we have to choose that this is 0, this makes 0, and this makes 0. For this what we have to do, we have to do r1 to goes to be r1 plus 2r2, this makes it 0, 2r2 makes it 0, and there is no difference because it is, if you multiply by 2 is in 0, there is always 0, plus 1 it is 0, 1. Okay, so r2 plus r2 goes to be 4r3 plus r2. This makes sense that this system becomes 0 0 0 0 and 0, and 1 1 1 on diagonal, right? Now we have to find out it makes also 0. So what we have to do, make 7 r3 plus R1, right? So this becomes 1 1 1, and all the system have 0, and there exists B1 B2 B3, right? This, what is that? B1 B2 and B3. So this gives, if you take x1 in, this is the coefficient matrix, right? This is the coefficients. So we, if we introduce an x1 x2 and x3, then it is x1 is equals to 29 and x2 is equals to 17, because x3 and x1 is 0 in this row. So this becomes x2 is equals to 17, and x1 plus x2 is 0 is in between, so this becomes x3 is equals to 3. So we have solution of this, which becomes, what is the solution? X1, x2 and x3. These are 29, 17 and 3, that are the solution for unknowns. Okay, the system is called consistent because we have a solution, and this solution is, the system has unique solution because it is uniquely we have find out. So it is unique solution, and the system is called consistent.